Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today was the day RCB was meant to erupt in joy. A day that was 18 years in the making. Fireworks, chants, tears of triumph. Instead, we're counting bodies, not boundaries. What was to be a night of glory has turned into a chapter of grief. At least 11 people have died, including 2 minors, in a stampede as thousands of fans gathered outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru to celebrate the victory of Royal Challengers Bengaluru in IPL 2025 Championship. Now, no celebration is worth a human life, and yet, even as the death toll was rising outside the stadium, believe it or not, the celebrations did not stop inside. And Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister, who was at the venue posing for cameras with the winners, with the players, had this to say about a tragedy that transpired right under his watch.
I think this is not a controllable crowd. Actually, I apologize for all the people of Karnataka and Bangalore. We wanted to give a precision. But the crowd was very uncontrollable. I don't blame my police department. They have done their best. But ನೀವೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲೇ ನೋಡಿದಿರಿ, crowd ನೋಡಿದಿರಿ, ಯಾರು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ದೊಣ್ಣೆ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಡೆಯಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. We cut off a lot of programs were there. We didn't want to continue with the program. Only within 10 minutes with one round we just closed it.
Yes, you heard it right. Nothing but an exercise of absolving self. Cops did a great job, state government did a good job, administration did no wrong. Who is at fault then? The uncontrollable crowds? Do they have to take the blame? Because of course, crowds must manage themselves instead of hoping that the leaders they voted to power will do their jobs. But wait, if Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka left you dumbfounded, listen in to his boss. He says the state government did not expect such a large crowd. Wow. Wow. One wonders what were their expectations really? That no one would be bothered enough to hail their team? Remember, these were the very people and party who went after UP Chief Minister and the UP government during Kumbh when 37 people lost their lives. There were 30-40 lakh devotees who were taking a holy dip every day. Look at what Siddaramaiah, Chief Minister of Karnataka, said today when that question was asked.
ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಈಗ ಡಿಫೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಹಿಂದೆ ನಡೆದಿತ್ತು, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂಭಮೇಳದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನ. ಕುಂಭಮೇಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು 50-60 ಜನ ಸತ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಚಾಪೇಡಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನಿಂದ ಬೇರೆ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ನೇನ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
Just last year, similar celebrations took place in Mumbai. Then the fans were cheering the T20 World Cup winning squad. And everything passed off without a hitch. The BJP now is citing glaring lapses in Bengaluru to call the tragedy a state-sponsored murder. Listen in.
Without any proper preparedness, state government's urgency to organize victory rally is the cause for this big tragedy. And state government never bothered about preparedness. State government was more interested in publicity.
It is a state-sponsored criminal negligence, a state-sponsored murder. And Mr. Siddaramaiah, Mr. Shivakumar and the Home Minister are directly responsible. They must resign. On the one hand, people have died, and you are continuing with the celebrations brazenly. This is your sensitivity. Congress speaks a lot, but it had nothing to say today.
I demand the judicial inquiries. I have a message, the police not given the permission. They refuse. Night 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, some senior minister called the police officers. No, not possible, sir. We can't control 2 lakhs people. No barricade, you want to 24 hours time, at least minimum. 2 days we want, at least 24. They refuse. Hey, I am the government. I am saying, give the permission.
The organizers of the felicitation ceremony inside the stadium were the KSCA, that is the Karnataka State Cricket Association, but inside the stadium, a BCCI affiliate. BCCI, on its part, shifted the blame onto the IPL franchise, RCB, and local administration. Rajiv Shukla, vice president of BCCI and a Congress veteran, was quick to give a clean chit to his party.
And it can happen in any state. That means the party in power there should not be blamed for this. First we should ascertain the facts. After that we should decide what should happen and who is responsible. It can happen in any state ruled by any political party. That much, if at times it happens in some state where BJP is in power, we should not blame BJP also.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Motorola legitimate question we're asking on the Newshour tonight, with everyone in positions of authority passing the buck, are we witnessing a hua to hua mindset repeating itself? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9, debate number 1, on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP, Priya Chetty, Rajgopal citizen, joining us from Bengaluru, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Suhail Seth, marketing guru, Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst, advocate Nikhil Jain, Congress supporter Vivek Srivastava, supports everybody who's not in the BJP, totally anti-BJP Vivek Srivastava. But first, let me get in Priya Chetty Rajgopal. Priya, if we were to believe Siddaramaiah ji as well as DK Shivakumar, the fans are responsible for the deaths that have happened. The roads are not big enough, the stadium is not big enough, and the fans should have understood this before they decided to make a beeline. It's another matter that the Congress continued and the Deputy Chief Minister continued with the felicitation ceremony even as 11 people were losing their lives outside on the streets. Do you think we are still to see the epitome of insensitivity? Does it get worse from here?
I can say how sorry I am and how terrible it is to hear this from the celebrations of last night, and to the absolute sort of pit of today of watching this tragedy unfold. It's all horrible. I don't really know who said what. I was looking at the paper this morning, but I do realize that both, I think, the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister had turned down the approval, or the police had turned down approval, but I think there was a lot of coming and going. I really don't know how and when it happened. But there are two or three things. One is that it's, apart from the sheer tragedy and the fact that it was so unfortunate that a celebration has turned into this. The second thing is, in terms of lack of preparedness, well, there was just one day between the IPL win and today. And the third thing is, it happens in, cricket is a religion, and it seems to happen a lot in religious places. And this has been something where I don't know whether I can, as a citizen, despite my own personal resonance with this tragedy, ascribe blame to any particular sets of people, whether it's the politicians or the citizens or the fans or the roads, because it just seems like a giant conspiracy where something wonderful and celebratory became into something like this. I'm sorry, Navika, but when I was not really in tune with this, I happened to see the pictures a couple of hours ago, and I was horrified to see the sheer multitude of people on the road. I mean, it was something that's begging to happen. Few things could have been definitely avoided. I mean, the way, I can't say it was lack of organization, because there were definitely two factions that were trying not to have this event, at such short notice. But I don't really know. I'm being
Really? Anand Ranganathan, do you think the government and the Deputy Chief Minister, who was present inside at the felicitation ceremony and continued with the photo ops and was busy lifting the trophy, do you think he did not know that people were dying outside? He was even, his motorcade was even given a free run and he was flying the RCB flag. You think he didn't know what was happening outside?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. On the day of this incalculable tragedy, first of all, my sincere condolences to the families of the bereaved. It's an absolute tragedy that has happened, especially in the wake of something that entire city and a lot of Indians were, other than Bangaloreans, were also celebrating. It is not a question of why and how the stampede happened. Of course, accountability has to be fixed. Like all stampedes, the accountability has to be fixed. But I just want to make a couple of points. Number one, please hold those to account, Navika, including many on these panels whose turn hasn't come yet, to do whataboutery, to say, oh, look, why are people criticizing this stampede when in Prayagraj the stampede happened, when in Hathras the stampede happened, when in BJP ruled states the stampede happened, then nobody fixed it. So the whataboutery will be a response of many of the people, which is outlandish and outrageous and unacceptable. Condemn all stampedes that happened everywhere. Number two, accountability has to be fixed, especially when a stadium, which is a smaller stadium than most Indian stadiums, can hold only 30,000. How on earth did more than 1 lakh people assemble in or outside the stadium? That the first flag was that should not have ever been allowed. And number two, Navika, this is the most troubling and I can't get my head around it. After the tragedy had happened, after the families of the deceased had been informed that this tragedy has happened, you had the function being carried on. You had the people who had talked about this tragedy live on air, and I could see a Times Now reporter asking the Deputy Chief Minister. He is talking about the people who followed the tragedy. And then a few minutes later, he is felicitating the people, the players inside. This is the most troubling thing, and this insensitivity, I cannot get my head around it. I can't even say it is beyond my saying the heads have to roll. But we have become so normalized to such tragedies that we don't even think about.
Absolutely. This is a crowning moment as far as insensitivity is concerned. But as I go across to Arun Dhumal, IPL chairman, who's joining me on the news hour. Arun Dhumal, first, we do give condolences to the families of those who have lost their near and dear ones. But the question that is resonating is, after such a successful IPL tournament, a day of celebrations turn into a day of tragedies. Who's really responsible?
It is sad, and first of all, I would like to convey my sincere and heartfelt condolences to all the families who've lost their loved ones. It is indeed very tragic. What should have been a day of celebration turned out to be a day of tragedy. And as far as BCCI is concerned, I would want to make a limited point. For BCCI, IPL ended last night with the handing over of trophy and all the celebrations that were to take place that took place in Ahmedabad. We had no knowledge of any such event taking place in Bangalore today. In fact, I got to know about it from media only. And that is how I got to know. And then I spoke to the officials, and they didn't know. They were inside the stadium that what has happened outside. So I, in fact, told them that whatever has happened, please close it down immediately. And they did it so. So it is indeed very sad and tragic. As you can recall, Navika, we had to abandon a game in between at Dharamshala when the scuffle with Pakistan took place. But we as BCCI ensured each and every one of those 25,000 fans leave the stadium safe and sound. So as far as BCCI is concerned, we did our best to conduct this tournament, taking care of all the fans' interest. For us, it ended last night. Why it happened, how it happened, who's responsible, that is for the administration to check and take a action on that.
But don't you think, Mr. Dhumal, it was callous of the organizers, and the government has called the Karnataka State Cricket Association as the organizer, for these celebrations to continue when people were dying outside?
See, I would not want to join into that argument, but if you can go through your footage, you can very well imagine who was felicitating the team and players there. none of the BCCI official or KSC officials were there doing all this. So how this incident took place and why it happened, it is indeed very sad and tragic, and let them inquire and find out who was responsible for this. Any match that BCCI or state organization would organize, they would take the administration into conference and take all the protocols in place to make sure the safety and security of each one of the fans is taken care of.
So let me also ask you, there was supposed to be a victory parade at around 3:30. Later on, this was called off. Was it the job of the KSCA, the Cricket Association, to let the people know? Where did this communication happen?
This is not KSCA state team. You have to understand why would they want to do it.
Okay.
So KSCA would have nothing to do with it. How can KSCA organize a program in Vidhan Sabha? It is for them to see who organized, where was this victory parade supposed to happen, how it was to happen. We have no knowledge of this, and I'm sure KSCA official also would not be knowing. If they were knowing, they are organizing matches since ages.
What about the franchisee, RCB?
I have no knowledge of that. You see, whenever a team plays a tournament outside the hotel, you find thousands of fans there just to take a glimpse of their stars. So who's responsible for this and how so much of crowd came there is a matter of investigation. Whether they were called, they came on their own, what had happened, actually, we have no knowledge of this. And it is indeed very sad and tragic.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Arun Dhumal, for joining me on the Newshour. You heard that, Advocate Nikhil Jain. This is not the State Cricket Association. It is not their job to maintain law and order over there. DK Shivakumar says the police was doing very well, the administration was doing very well, so well that the entire celebration carried on at a time when people were dying outside. Nikhil Jain, really? Really? And this is the Congress party's ruled state, when the Congress party can find fault every nanosecond against the BJP whenever, wherever, whatever wrong happens, really doesn't know how to plan their own events in their own states?
Navika, so first of all, an assertion is being made that while the stampede was going on, after people had died, celebrations went on. However, that's not what the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka is saying. Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, DK Shivakumar, says that the celebrations were ended in 10 minutes. Now, I don't know which of the sides is right, whether should I believe the Deputy Chief Minister or reports being played. I think what is important is for the viewers and for the public to know the timestamps of the individual videos and statements being played. When did DK Shivakumar give that 10-minute statement? When did the first child faint? When was the first person seriously injured? When was the felicitation done? None of the videos on none of the channels are showing the timestamp, so that is very important. Secondly, I welcome everybody who's asking questions of the government.
Hold your thoughts, Nikhil Jain. I'm also joined by Rizwan Arshad, MLA of the Congress party in the Karnataka Assembly. Rizwan Arshad, thank you very much for joining me tonight. And at a time when we mourn the loss of lives in the stampede in Bengaluru today, I want to ask you, who's responsible? Who was responsible for controlling the crowds? People were losing their lives outside, and there were felicitations that were going on inside the stadium. Has the government of Karnataka, completely lost the scale of insensitivity that was on display today?
I think, Navika, you don't have the complete information. The stampede happened in the stadium where the felicitation program was organized by the Cricket Association. It was not the state government program, right? So the association, the stadium's capability is 33,000 people, to accommodate 33,000 people. More than 3 to 4 lakh people did gather there, and they tried to enter the stadium. 4 gates of the stadium were broken, and there was a stampede there. And to continue the program, to abandon the program, that was the decision of the Cricket Association.
I just spoke to the IPL chairman who said that the Cricket Association does not own the RCB team. They have absolutely no idea of the entire felicitation.
I did hear him. And it was sad that he told that. It is on record that Karnataka State Cricket Association decided to celebrate this victory overnight. And it was their program which was happening in the stadium. It was not the Congress parties or the state government's program. We had a program in Vidhan Sauda, on the grand steps of Vidhan Sauda, where more than 1 lakh people also gathered there. That after the program, the next program, the following program was this stadium program where this stampede happened. So I don't know why he has not taken information before presenting.
Mr. Nalin Kohli of the BJP. Rizwan Arshad says this was a KSCA program. Though the Deputy Chief Minister was present there, he has no responsibility. And therefore, even if people are dying, the felicitation continued with the Deputy Chief Minister's presence. You think that is a okay explanation?
Well, it's an explanation, but it's not okay, Navika. For the simple point that people lost their lives. And at the very least, someone as responsible and as senior as the Deputy Chief Minister should have taken the command. I mean, he was there to pass any command he wanted. His priority was perhaps to celebrate, to make sure that there was a visible presence of his among these 35,000 people. But he's going to now live with this fact that 10 families are distraught, if that is the final figure. The universe of those 10 families is destroyed. And people have died for no fault. What is the fault? That they go to celebrate a cricket match of RCB team, its victory and winning the IPL after 18 years. And it's so trivial for the government there that they continue with the program and there's no priority. I mean, which person in their right senses, and I ask this as a human being, forget about me being a political person or an advocate, which human being can be in the right frame of mind to want to celebrate something when there is a death taking place in the near vicinity, and not 1 but 10 related to the very celebration that's happening. Number 2, obviously there would be crowds. I mean, that is the reason why the Deputy Chief Minister of the state was there. If 200 people were to be there, he wouldn't have stepped out of his office. Because the nature of political activity is to be among the crowds when the crowds are there, because that's how you write the political work. So it was obvious that there would be a crowd. And if Mumbai, when we won the T20 World Cup, could organize 3 lakh people without a dint, Wankhede Stadium does not take 3 lakh people either. But there was no incident. There was no, in fact, injury. Thank God. Here, you've had deaths. You had it in with 40 lakh, and that's a very, very important figure you gave. In Kumbh, 37 people died. You must play today the videos of each one of the leaders who has criticized that and tried to put blame. Then why the standards are different?
Rizwan Arshad, moot point. Should Mr. D.K. Shivakumar not have called off the celebrations there?
For his party, but these are answers.
No, there are two things, Navika. One, when Mr. Shivakumar was in the stadium, when there was a stampede, the injured were taken to the hospital, and by the time they were, they were declared dead, and all that, there was a time gap. One. Two, I want to ask Mr. Kohli, our BJP friend. He said just 37 people died in the Kumbh. You planned it for 2 long years, did such a big propaganda. Since he's talking politics, I'm talking. And hundreds of people were dead. You never declared it. How many were dead? You kept it closed.
Rizwan Arshad, I can bust your facts that you are being given as fake facts. May I tell you, my reporter was at the spot, asked a question to DK Shivakumar. At that time, 7 people had been declared dead. DK Shivakumar had still not gone inside. He was outside answering questions on 7 dead people at that time. And you're saying he didn't know people had died?
After planning for 2 years, they have brought hundreds of people dead in Kumbh. And he's criticized. See, I don't want to play politics here. There is definitely something which has gone wrong. I mean, Navika, since he mentioned that, I'm mentioning. If he made it political, I'm making it political. There is something which has gone wrong. That is why the government has ordered a magisterial inquiry to understand what has gone wrong, who were responsible, where it went wrong, and if it has gone wrong, definitely heads will roll. So we have ordered a magisterial inquiry and it will be done in 15 days. It's a time-bound inquiry.
Okay, and we will wait for 15 days for people to forget this event like many other events.
Like Kumbh.
But Nalin Kohli, my reporter, the Times Now reporter, asked questions of DK Shivakumar before he went inside. And at that time, the number of dead was 7. I can play that clip for you. Now, and it is on air when he is making this statement, and Neha Hebale is standing next to him. 7 people had died, he had still not gone inside. He went inside, 7 people were already dead, may not be 11, but 7 were already dead. Yet he went ahead with the photo op and the celebrations. Nalin Kohli, kosher?
No, it's not kosher. And that's the point. Basically today, and Rizwanji is entitled to put his party's point of view. But then they have to be factual. Immediately after that, I've seen the statement on your channel, Navika. DK Shivakumarji gives the clean chit before the magisterial inquiry. Then who's to blame? I mean, the government is certainly not to blame, according to what we've heard. The police is not to blame. So the blame, what I'm gathering, is the people. So therefore, people should not come out. People should not go out to celebrate. Because if they die, because of the arrangements being of a certain nature, they are to blame. Everybody else has done a great job. I mean, it really comes down to only that. That's the crux of the entire thing. And second, how could you not expect a crowd? I mean, after all, we are a country which is prone to crowds. These are all political leaders who have rallies of 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. They are used to crowds. The crowd management.
And yet they can't anticipate a crowd celebrating their cricket stars. Suhail said, irony died 1,000 deaths, Suhail said, because nobody killed those 11 people. It just happened. It was their fault because there were so many people present and this was waiting to happen. Suhail, should we just shut our eyes and move forward with business as usual?
Can I tell you, it's a sad day when political parties and their representatives, no matter who they are, jump in to defend the indefensible. What has happened today is a human tragedy of epic proportion, and it is an indictment of the way we manage human existence and human lives in our country. We are pathetic when it comes to respecting human life. And all political parties, all governments, all governance models have failed in this area. And the reason that you're asking this question becomes even more important because, as Anand said in his opening remarks, it is not about what happened when and what happened now and should we compare. You can't compare horrific crimes, horrific tragedies and horrific accidents because these were allowed to happen. I can understand an accident. I cannot understand a man-made tragedy which is waiting to unfold because you have an inept government, an inept police, an inept law and order situation. And I must say this, I know I will get trolled and criticized. Inept and unruly fans. Please don't take the blame away from those fans. We treat cricket as a religion and we run amok. We are equally to blame. Do you know, Navika, there's a reason why I don't watch cricket matches. Twice I was invited by someone to watch a cricket match at Firozshah Kotla in Delhi. I don't know which government was there, who was running DDCA. Both the times I got lathi charged for no fault of mine, by those chaps on horses. After that, I said, to hell with cricket. Yeah, I'm not going to go there to get my legs broken when I have a valid ticket. It is unruly, it is mismanaged, and India is the capital of mismanagement in these things. Now people are saying, oh, but IPL didn't do it, BCCI didn't do it. There are three things that have happened. 11 people have died. The government of the day, whichever goddamn government it is in denial, and people are willing to defend a government. DK Shivakumar, and apparently he's a very good administrator, and his superior Siddaramaiah, they should come out and apologize. And there should be an indictment of the people, including the police.
He apologized. He apologized that there was no victory parade from the Vidhan Sauda to the stadium. But he did not. He did not apologize for the deaths. Vivek Srivastava.
Exactly my point.
Should DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah resign?
Yes. They never resigned.
No. Nobody is going to apologize, and they should not apologize, and they are not supposed to resign. ये सारी political vendetta ये बीजेपी वाले अपने पास रखें. पहली चीज, nobody speaks जब कुंभ में लोग मरते हैं, mismanagement होता है. New Delhi railway station, there's a huge crowd, people die, everybody is silent. Because
nobody was silent. Who was silent?
चढ़ जाता है.
Who was silent?
हाथरस में आता है, 100 लोग मर जाते हैं. Everybody is silent. कोई हल्ला नहीं मचाता. कोई नहीं कहता योगी आदित्यनाथ should resign. कोई नहीं कहता he should apologize. और यहाँ सारे हल्ला मचा रहे हैं साहब. Why should? It was not a state government program. DK Shivakumar एक बड़े नेता हैं साहब. हर नेता को बुलाया जाता है, लोग जलसों में जाते हैं, उनको पता भी नहीं होता.
अच्छा, और हर नेता, and I want you to play those visuals of DK Shivakumar going in a motorcade with the waving a flag, standing there with the trophy almost as if he had won that cricket match. Anand Ranganathan, what is Vivek Srivastava saying?
Navika, I began by saying that your panelists out here on this panel are going to do whataboutery and bring out New Delhi railway station, Hathras, and Kumbh Mela Stampede. After 15 minutes of my statement, exactly that has happened. How criminally minded can you be? I'm sorry, Vivek is a friend, but what he's saying is unacceptable. At least he should express some condolences before he turns the whole event political and starts to save the skin of his superiors out there.
Yes.
Number one, Vivek, Vivek, please allow me. No. Navika, Mr. Jain asked this question about the chronology. I'm surprised that someone as erudite as him is going to confuse the viewers. So let me be very clear. The news of the stampede started filtering in, and Times Now reports are there. I have screenshots of the tweets. 5:30 p.m. and DK Shivakumar, as you rightly said, was interviewed at 5:35 p.m. The function did not even begin before 6 p.m. The RCB players were going inside the stadium around 5:45 to 5:50 p.m. So clearly they were felicitated by DK Shivakumar inside the stadium after him knowing that people had died just outside the stadium. Now, is that not to be condemned? I leave it to your viewers, but I'm not going to leave it to Vivek, who has been so irrefutably...
Absolutely, and I can play out those visuals, and those visuals should shame us today. Visuals of no ambulances available, visuals of policemen carrying people in their arms, running across. Not one ambulance was available. Look at those visuals, ladies and gentlemen. People being carried in the arms. There was CPR being given, first aid being given by crowds to the common people. In some places, there were no policemen available. Where were the standard operating procedures? Even if the celebration was being done by somebody, which it wasn't after the statement of the BCCI and the IPL organizers, what were the SOPs? And even inside the stadium, even if there were only 33,000 people as per the capacity of the stadium, why was there no police? Why were there no arrangements made? Who was supposed to inform people that the victory parade that was scheduled for 3:30 p.m. had been cancelled? Did people turn up on the streets for the victory parade and not be informed that it was cancelled? Was this a completely negligent arrangement from the word go? Who's responsible? for those 11 families today being reduced to tragic circumstances, losing one of their own. Do politicians really care? Do governments really care? Mr. Rahul Gandhi, will you take actions? Will you have the same questions as you do when the BJP is at fault? Which you should. And you do play the role of the leader of opposition. But when it is a Congress-ruled state, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, we're waiting to see the action that you take. How many heads roll and what action is taken and how you give justice to the people who lost their lives today. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists.